Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
They come to relax, enjoy the beach, have fun, and spend money. And that's where we come in. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. Find out tips on the best ways to market and operate a water sports business. If you're a water sports operator, you need to grow your brand, operate more safely, upgrade your operations, and of course, increase bookings. We're industry veterans, broadcasting from Destin, Florida. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. And this is Kevin O'Neill and Greg Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of the Awkward Watersports Guy podcast. Today, we are not going to have a subject. We are just going to talk about everything that we've been dealing with recently because there's so much that we think we have to catch up on. But first, Kevin, I don't know if I told you, but I had to change our podcast to explicit because you're swearing so much in it.
Did we get like a ban or something? Did we get in trouble?
No. It's just I was listening to it with my kid.
Oh, and you forgot to edit out fucking cocksucker. Yeah, good one.
No. Actually, I knew that one. It was the other ones, and I just keep forgetting. I listened to it in the car, and I just keep forgetting that it's on there. But I just try to think that, we're getting a lot more listeners now. Probably have to change it just so they know in advance that
sure.
It's
but listen, dude. You look like turn on David Goggins for 5 minutes, Andy Frisella, Gary V. David Goggins is ridiculous, man. He's got 1 minute videos on YouTube where he's on a treadmill or doing push-ups, and he's just like, all right, listen, motherfucker. And I'm like, we're 5 seconds into the thing, man. It's it's only a minute long, man. The guy is, and I don't know if you've ever checked him out, but he's an ex-Navy SEAL and ultra marathon runner. The guy is absolutely just a force to be reckoned with, and there's nothing fake about him.
That's why I would never change anything about the show. I think it's very authentic. It's funny. I mean, I'm not the one to throw out a lot of cuss words. But that's just who I am. And I think that's who you are. That's just how you talk and how you communicate too.
Listen, I don't want to derail us too far, but I was thinking about this last night. That's funny that you bring this up, dude. And since we're doing a smorgasbord, but I got to tell you, man, and there's a little bit of a lesson to be here for sure. People can smell your bullshit. All right. It's fucking from a mile away. Okay. So I've talked to marketers before. All right. And I've talked to politicians before that have tried to casually swear with me to fit our conversation, like personality mirroring or whatever. I think 92 Ways How to Talk to Anyone. And it's very forced. And I could hear it. It's yeah, man, fucking these guys, man, they're just crazy. It's listen, fucker, dude. You sound so awkward and weird right now, man. Just fucking stop, dude. See, it rolls off my tongue. So when you're talking to somebody, especially a customer, man, always be yourself. And, that's why I do my own, commercials and shit. My Facebook, it's just me. When I look at people doing those, jet ski, it's so fun in the sun, jet ski. And it's some hot looking dude or a hot looking chick on a jet ski. Here's another one. Here's some gold, motherfuckers, for you guys that want to listen. Do a talking head video. And put your offer out there and cut to the fucking point, and you will crush on social media. There are guys that are selling nothing for $10,000 because it's a talking head video. But be authentic in that bitch, and don't try and fucking swear like me.
Yeah,
I'm a swearing Jedi.
It just doesn't fit me. And if I do it, then people are they can see it from a mile away. If I start swearing constantly, you'd be like,
you take a big pause, dude. Like you take this like pause. You're just like, that guy's like a dickhead. Like, you take this pause. You're like, oh, should I let it out? You know what I could go to church and let that show. But see, because of that pause, it's so authentic. So when you swear, I feel it has more impact because you're actually considering saying it. You're not considering saying it because you're like, oh, are you going to impress me? You're just like, you're actually considering, should I say this word? Which I think attests to how measured you are. So I think when you swear, it comes off okay. Like, it doesn't seem forced. I would tell you if it seemed forced. I'd be like, Greg, fucking stop swearing. That was terrible, dude.
You know, it's funny because the last episode we talked about refunds and cancellations, and now it's like I almost thought to call you and say we should talk about weather because weather has been awful the past week. I mean, it's insane. And overall, though, I think for March, and we're seeing this all across the Southeast, overall in March, things are looking really good, even with as many cancellations as we had. Obviously, a lot of pent up demand. People want it. When it is sunny out, things are like balls to the wall. Like it's the best I think it's ever been for March. But man, I tell you, if we had the weather rolling, it would have been summer numbers for March.
Man. Oh, without a doubt, man. Coming back to the refund episode, I've been dealing with some of that for like a week. Like people are emailing me asking for partial refunds, and I gave it to them. So I think like, I'm not, so like, spoiler alert, guys, I rarely listen to our shows. I live them. I love them. I love having these conversations with people. I can't go back and listen to myself talk. I'm sorry. It's like one of those things, like nails on a chalkboard. Anyway, so I had some customers email me asking me for refunds. And like I said and I've talked about this before, I just do much better in email. I can measure. I take a pause before I swear, you know? And so both of them, I took care of them. They were both nice about it. They're like, hey man, we came back in like 2 hours. Hey man, we came back in like less than half a day. I'm like, yeah, I got you. The one guy, I didn't even notice that it came through Google Reserve because I wouldn't even flinch for that guy. I'd have been like, he booked through Google. He knows. And like, he had a 5-star review and a 1-star review written. I swear to God, because it was like instantaneous. It was like, here's your money back, dude. Hope you enjoy the rest of your time. Sorry about the weather. And it was like, bing, my GMB tinged off with a 5-star review from that guy. And I was like, all right, because I didn't want to take, I mean, I could take one negative review and live with it, but I can't take, 2 back to back. I'm like, but again, he emailed me. We had it was a quick conversation. He was nice about it. He was fine. This other lady, I mean, she's just like, I'm going to stalk you to the end of time. She's like, she threatened me on Facebook. If you don't put this, like, she didn't even put it in the review. She made it a community post so I could delete it and ban her, which I fucking did. Delete, ban. Fuck you, lady. I mean, because she was so mean. She was just like, if you don't put this on your wall, I'm going to comment on your Facebook page every day. And I'm like, no, you're not. Again, I'm like, okay. And I responded to her review. Here's another piece of gold, guys. This is another one of my favorites. I use review responses to add S for SEO. So I'll be like, especially negative ones. Now, I'll answer good ones genuinely, but the negative ones, I'm like, thank you for renting your pontoon boat in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Thanks for coming to Destin to rent a jet ski. You know what? I actually put keyword phrase search terms in my response. And then I'm like, whatever. And it was like the weather thing. I can't remember what I said. I was just like, I low key just like fucking made her seem stupid. I'm like, the Choctawhatchee Bay is like 1 to 5 feet. Cause her thing was like, oh, you're being dangerous and we're unsafe. Okay. It's like I tell anybody, if you really get scared, feel free to drop anchor and walk out. Like, you're in such shallow water, like you're going to be fine. So that's what I said. Of like, I use the SEO and then talked about our waters a little bit. I'm like, I'm really sorry that the weather turned out to be so crappy, but if she would have emailed me and been nice, I'd have been like, how can I argue that? Here's your money back.
Yeah.
So, a little reprieve from the last episode. Those of you guys who listen to everyone, sometimes I can be a cocksucker too. So.
Yeah. So I decided to take off last week. I took some of our Trip Shock staff to Lake Tahoe and just for
that was in a family trip. That was that you took your team there.
Yeah, I took the marketing team there.
Oh my God! All right, let's go. How was
it? As far as we stayed at the Hard Rock in Lake Tahoe on the Nevada side, because damn as hell am I going to stay on the California side. Not that I dislike California. I just dislike all the businesses being shut down. But had a fun time. I mean, I gambled away too much money, but had a great experience with different tours. We booked a fishing charter. That was my first time doing a fishing charter in 30-degree weather. It was badass. We caught lake trout on the bottom of Lake Tahoe. We did like this trolling, drift fishing type combo. The crew was awesome. And we caught our limit. One of my staff caught probably like a 45, 50-year-old lake trout. The thing was massive. And we took the fish back, got it cooked up at one of the local restaurants.
What was the name of the company?
Tahoe Sport Fishing. Actually, give a shout out to Steven from Amp Agency. He recommended them, and man, they were awesome. And then we did a snowmobile tour. And let me tell you about my snowmobile tour experience. So the tour was awesome. So I originally went on Google and I searched for snowmobile tours, and the first like 7 listings on Google were the same company, but just different websites. And it was pissing me off. Every time I clicked it, sold out, clicked it, sold out. And I'm like, there's got to be more than one snowmobile tour company in this town. So finally, like on the 9th listing, I click it and this company has availability, and I booked it online. And it just goes to show that you have to be everywhere, because I was almost at the end. I was almost done. I'm like, this has been like 45 minutes. I can't find another company. Yeah, maybe I could have called like the concierge. Maybe they had some ideas. But yeah, I was almost done. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do something else. You gotta be in more places, because your competitors could do exactly that. And I've seen this happen to where like the first 5 or 6 search results are the same company, but within different variations. Maybe they own a second website. Maybe they're partnered with another company that has that high ranking, or there's a blog that only mentions one company that in the category. But yeah, it's interesting experience trying to book it. I couldn't find anybody. I almost didn't get to do it. But when we went on the tour, had a phenomenal time, great guides. Then my first time on a snowmobile since I was a little kid, because I grew up in Michigan, kind of like riding a wave runner, but on the snow.
Man, I want to go, dude. I want to go somewhere.
And then, you know what I love about it is that it's year-round destination. So in the winter, they got skiing and hiking and snowmobiling. And then in the winter or the summer, it's parasailing and jet skis and boat rentals and fishing. It's like the perfect place. I'd love to get Trip Shock in that destination. So if anyone's listening from Lake Tahoe area, hit me up.
Yo, bro,
give me an excuse.
Vacation rental.
Give me an
vacation rental there, dude. And then let's do it. Let's take. I think you should take out the marketing section of Awkward Watersports Guys to Lake Tahoe, dude. Just me and you, buddy.
So here's the best part about the trip. So the marketing team is my brother, Mike, and a guy I grew up with, Dan Woods, which is also my brother's best friend. And we're all 3 really close. And then I have Stephanie McIntosh, Suzanne Bratton. They do email marketing and blogging. That's pretty much it. That's us. So Suzanne and Stephanie couldn't go. One of I ended up inviting Kimberly. She's in our onboarding process. I brought her in. My assistant went as well. But I told my wife that, hey, I'm going on this trip. And she thought it was like 10 people. But it ended up being myself, my brother, you got Dan, and then my assistant, Sandy, and Kimberly. And my wife's like, so you're telling me you're going to a casino for 5 days with your brother, you're Dan Woods, we're all together. And then he's like, and Sandy, my assistant, which, you know, she's great. And she kind of keeps us all in line and everything like that. And then Kimberly, and she's like, this sounds like just a dude's vacation.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
And she's like, team building my ass. She's like, this is a guy's trip. And so it was funny because the whole time we were just all laughing, but it is what it is. But we tried to get the whole team to go, but it just didn't all work out.
Let me ask you a question. So for the operator, let's just say starting off, and now for some reason you strike me as being 2 things. You strike me as 1, you're frugal, and 2, you know about money. Would those be accurate?
True.
Okay. So my question to you is, would you as a smaller operator, would you like flex like that if you weren't doing the type of numbers that you were doing? Or would you, meaning like, all right, so let's just say it's like a 10-to-1 ratio, right? Like you take your team out and let's say you made $10 and you spend $1 for every single employee that you take out. All right. Now, maybe some guys are not at that level and there's like more of like they're, spending, $5 for every one, or $5 for every one guy. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. Am I saying that right? Or did I do that?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm clarifying myself here.
I understand.
Basically, would you, in order to like build up your company culture, build up your team, would you live a little bit outside of your means? Meaning, do you ever do things for the sake of Trip Shock that are outside of your means? Like I tell people all the time, like as an investment, don't be afraid to invest in marketing. So many people
100%. Yeah. I get you.
Even on something like that, to just, if you see one company A is like, they took their guy and they bought him dinner at the end of the season. That guy's really good. But you're like, man, I got $1,000 to give this guy. It's going to hurt a little bit, but I think for him, it's going to mean all the difference in the world. Like $1,000 to me is not $1,000. It's way more than $1,000 to him. So is that something you would do?
Yeah. So here's how I look at it. When I didn't have the money to go on like the more extravagant trips, we would do small things, and because that's just important. But at the end of the day, money is not the number one thing that employees care about. They want to spend time with you. Like, believe it or not, a lot of employees, they just want to spend more time with their boss, get to know them, feel like they're part of something bigger. Mm-hmm. And it's not so much about going out and spending a bunch of money. It's about them having access to you and other team members. We shared a lot of ideas when we were up there, which is great. Probably got 4 or 5 ideas that I came back with. That's what it's all about. And really the trip to Lake Tahoe, I really just wanted to go somewhere that had a casino and somewhere that had snow.
I know you want to go to a casino.
One of the two, because I haven't been for 2 years. I was just dying to go play some blackjack. I literally was dying to go.
And all of our endeavors that we talk about, like no matter like when me and Greg talk about like doing something with like one day we're gonna have we have the high hopes for this show, guys. Like we really do. We want to reach like every water sport operator in the world. We want to create this huge community, and we want to like put us all together, at some point in the future, you know. And every time we talk about that, it's always like yeah, we're gonna go somewhere that's got a casino. That's the one quantifier for anything we do in the future. Like if the Awkward Watersport Guys ever become more than just me and Greg doing this for fun, casinos and gambling will be involved in our future. And I'm not gonna say anything. I don't want to step out of turn here, but I think if it was just still being me and you, casinos still could be in our future.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, we got to think like all of us, we're in the water, we're in tourism destinations. Most of us anyways are. So why would we want to go to another destination with water? No. And we want to go to somewhere. I mean, the casinos are always like a good opposite.
Not even just opposite, but it's a place where you can be like, you cannot be the awkwardness of there's game. So you're all together. You can still be social, but you can have fun doing something else. It's not like going to a party and standing there and like having like a mixer or a drink or something like that. There's actually something else there. It's bonding. You could be playing at the same table. Like
I'm not going to drive 1,000 miles or fly 1,000 miles to go to another bar.
Right.
I mean, that's why I like the casinos, because it's something you can do other than just sitting there and drinking. And it's exciting. I love it. I mean, I get giddy when I get in there, all the lights and shit going on.
Yeah. I'm shocked that you didn't go see the boys, man, over at the I don't know. I wish they'd come up with like a name for their fucking podcast, man.
They're in the South. Las Vegas is far from the Sierra Nevada. So.
I have no idea. I've not been into that part. I mean, I've crossed the border from Nevada to California, but I don't know like at what point, like north, south, but still, man, those guys like seem to know what's up, dude. They have like, I would have gotten a slingshot or something like that, or a Jeep from those dickheads. Dude, me and Steve talk all the time, man. That's my homie, man. Like we like text like schoolgirls because we love the same bullshit. You know what I mean? I ask him questions about marketing. He asks me questions about water sports and shit. So they're kindred spirits, man. So I'm going to tell him after this. Actually, I have a call with him after this. So I'm going to tell him, hey, man, I mentioned you on the show. I won't mention I called him a dickhead. I'll make him listen.
So I got my big idea, or not a big idea. It's the big feature we just launched on Trip Shock.
All right. Let's go.
We have something called Click to Call. It's through Amazon. And how it works is when people, instead of just putting a phone number on the product listing for the tour, it says talk to us. And you click it and it brings up a small form. And the form says, fill this out and our agents will call you back. And so everyone that calls us has to fill out this form.
The lead page.
Yeah. It's just a little pop-up form.
Okay.
And then what's cool about it is when our agents see it in the queue, when that caller comes in, they know which product they're on. We have their email, we have their phone number, everything. Well, we get their phone number anyways if they called us before. But most importantly, we get their email and we know what product they're on.
Yeah.
And then they become a known user. So anywhere they go on the website, we can track that and send them updated emails. So basically, we're getting 200 to 300 more emails a day now because of that feature.
Wow.
It's insane. So, and here's what's even better.
I need a VA, but if I got 200 to 300 more emails a day, I'd be like,
so
that was me having a conniption fit.
So let me give you this scenario. So let's say that you call, you're on let's say you're on a jet ski rental, and you call our agents. They say, oh, well, thanks for the price and info. We'll call you back later. We don't hear from, they don't book in the next hour. Well, since we have their email, we send them a follow-up email that says, hey, thanks for calling us. Here's the product that you're interested in. Book it before it sells out. We couldn't ever do that before when they called. Now, and then let's say they go to another product. Let's say they look at a dolphin cruise the next day and they abandon that listing. We can send them a message saying, hey, we noticed you were looking at the dolphin cruise page. Book now before it sells out. And we can put them in that workflow. So that's something that we could never have done before. And we're probably going to get thousands of emails every month because of the phone call.
So my web developer can just go onto your site, check that out, deal that, because I can't explain what you just told me to tell him. Okay.
Yeah, just go.
And he probably won't listen to the show. I'll be honest. I was looking at the clock. Come in at 21 minutes, Brant, and then.
Go on any listing, click talk to us, and it'll bring up a form, and you can see how it all works out. But that's an exciting feature for us because it's getting so expensive to get new customers. And this is one way to get customer data and to remarket to customers that we've never have been able to do before.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when it comes to phones, we miss a lot, unfortunately.
God, tell me about it.
With having this, even though we might miss a phone call if they fill out the form and whatever, meaning maybe they drop or we never get to them, we have a way to follow up with them with some offer or the product that they were looking at or some ideas. And that's huge. That's very, very huge. And a lot of people, we're only converting 35 to 40% of our phone calls. So most of them now.
That's 7:30 to 9:30, dude. And it just scrolls like that, man. Of like people we ended up having to call back. Like my phone, my call log is filled, man. And that's just for Destiny, man. This is like nothing I've ever seen, man. This is like the water sport gold rush. It is. Yeah. It's insane, man.
Speaking of not the bookings, but you can't even get any boats. I was talking to the guys with the snowmobile tour, and they said they're having problems getting stuff. It's everywhere. Anything motorsports. You're just backlogged. I was looking at the Facebook group, and there was guys saying that they ordered boats and skis in September, and they haven't got their orders fulfilled.
Yeah, and it's about to get a whole lot worse, man. That there's going to be a massive disruption in the supply chain due to the blockage in the Suez Canal that is costing. Right now they're saying that there could be possible shortages of toilet paper, the fucking toilet paper in March, shortages of fuel in the Middle East. Have you not seen this?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I didn't know how bad it was.
Super bad. It's really bad. Like it's costing billions of dollars a day. Like it is. It's really bad because apparently this whole thing it's like blocking the entire Suez Canal. There's like billions of dollars worth of products on this boat and nothing can get through that could block. I'm just like, man, get the containers off and blow that shit up. And man, you got a new shallow water shipwreck, man. Everybody can go dive on it. But yeah, apparently it could be a real disruptor for the world economy, believe it or not, because it's a major supply chain route. So I think that's only going to get worse, water sports people. I do not know what to tell you. Start selling them crappy used jet skis, man, because there's gold in them hills there.
Well, think about the other way. So what would you ever buy residential guys that have skis, private owners? No. Whatever to that point?
Not skis, boats.
Not skis, boats.
Boats,
yeah.
Not skis. It would depend on how much my business was going to be affected. It would depend on the ski, man. And I know a lot of guys are doing this. Like, yeah, we're buying used skis. Like how many hours? 300 to 500. Oh my God, dude. Kill yourself now.
300 to 500 isn't too bad though for a rental ski,
dude. I mean, that's 500 is it, dude. 500 is it. At 500, that bitch is gonna be breaking down every other day, dude. Like,
well, if you have nonstop. I mean, if that's all you had to. If you need skis, if you're not getting
500 rental hours, that's like saying stage 4 cancer isn't that bad.
I had so my first year, every ski I had between 500 and 700 hours.
Rental hours on them?
Rental hours, yeah.
Man, you sold that company after 3 years, bro.
That
was probably part of the reason why.
Well, we lost 2 of those skis the first year, just like the totally gone. But I expected it. But we made our money back probably 20 times before they were done. But I'm just saying, if that's all you had, you got to take it. And if you have a good mechanic or someone who knew well, I mean, just you got to do what you got to do.
I guess, man. Like I just at the 2018 Yamaha VXs that we had were just like at 500 hours, man, with the reverse gates were just trash. Like it was nonstop. Like the computer kept on throwing codes, like all of them. It'd be like fix, back in the water, break, fix, back in the water, break. And so, you know, as like a, whatever you want to call it, a solo watcherpreneur, you know, if you're on your own and this is like what you're doing all the time, if you got 6, 8, 10 skis or something like that, and you're like the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, like I just personally, that is a hell that I don't like. A lot of operators love twisting wrenches, dude. They love getting in there. Oh, I'm going to fix this. You know, guys, I've been in the ski till 4:00 in the morning. I'm just like, I just go drive a boat for somebody else. Like I'm not in the business of liking to wrench on shit. So I have a mechanic that comes out and does that for me. But so when you're waiting on that guy, and if you do, and again, I'm not a jet ski mechanic. I don't know how I'm terrible with that. So to be down there and to be frustrated and try and get that ski running, or to be waiting 2 or 3 days, this is like, I mean, if your business is all
skis,
it's all skis for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. It's 300 to 500 hours, man, on modern skis. Like it depending on how they were taken care of too. If you buy 500-hour skis from somebody that really cared about that ski and took care of it and did oil changes all in the right time and cleaned it and put corrosion block on it, and I mean, baby, that fucking thing, that's a different ski than somebody who's just like fucking throw it in the gutter, go buy another. You know what I mean? Like just get another one, let it blow up. You know, and those guys exist. A lot of guys don't know shit about shit, and they buy jet skis and they tear them up and don't take care of them, put a brand new coat of paint and fiberglass and some rub rails, and they're good to go. And you clean up the engine, it's good, but it's like, man, the inside of that thing has been running on shit oil for 2.5 years and hasn't had filter changes, and the build has fucking just been completely trashed the entire time, then that's a different 500-hour ski. I'm pretty sure I know where you got all your 500-hour skis from. And Jason, right? Did you get them from Jason? Yeah. Jason fucking knows everything about skis. You know what I mean? And his skis are fucking immaculate. He takes care of them. You know what I mean? So Jason's ski is going to be way different. Shout out H2O up here in Destin. They take care of their skis, not like Destiny Water Venture. I'm going to blow it up. Throw it in the garbage. I don't want to touch it anymore. I hate it. But you know what I mean? There's some guys that really don't, man. And so that's a different kind of ski.
Yeah. How many hours a year typically did you put on your skis?
Oh, bro, that's such an involved question because I've done so many different models with it. But with the when we were doing like the free ride, man, I think was like 300 hours or something like that. I put on some of them in one season, man. I was putting 600 hours on boats. Like it's like nothing I've ever seen.
We were around 250 a year with each ski. So typically when I got close to 450, that's when we were putting them up for sale, because that's kind of the breaking point on them.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, man. I mean, there's no two ways about it. This is going to be rough for a whole new set of reasons than last year, man. You know, like I'm not going to toot my own horn. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? But me switching to a straight tour model this year, and there not being a run on EXs like there were VXs, I was able to go in and swoop up like a nice little handful to round my fleet back out, and then at a manageable number of jet skis that I wanted to run for my tours. And I'm watching everybody else. It's like, man, that sucks, dude. You know,
what do you do? I mean, if let's say that you were in a situation where you were waiting on lots of boats,
I would I'd buy used boats. I would go over all the country. I've gone to Michigan like multiple times and bought boats. You know, I'd buy used boats. I would look, same thing with skis. I would run the skis out, but then I would run tours on them if it were me. You know, like my buddy Ben, shout out. Fuck, this is like the big Destin show this year in Fort Walton Beach, man. What's up? But everybody knows Destin, so whatever. But you know, shout out, power up. You know, Ben was talking about doing like enduro skis, like enduro ski tours, like a 3-hour tour or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different ways that, you know, like the guys. Fucking, like, spoiler alert, there's ways that you can make off boats and jet skis other than just fucking giving them to them and sending them fucking out, you know? So that's the thing. I would govern them motherfuckers, especially if you're going to send them out. I would govern them so they couldn't get up to a certain amount. Like, especially if you're trying to get through a year with ragged ass skis, and I would go to tours, you know, and I would put marketing dollars behind tours and baby them, man, baby the fucking machines.
Yeah, that's a freaking great idea, Kevin. I think everyone's this year is going to run everything they have as hard as they can because it's going to be crazy busy. A lot of them, I mean, I've spoken to at least 10 people that are waiting for equipment right now. And so they got to make do with what they have. So really, I mean, you can raise your price if you have less equipment. Think about raising your price. Yep. 2, governing your skis, maintaining the hell out of them. I mean, just go above and beyond on maintenance, changing the oil, you know, making sure that whatever needs to be done, it needs to be done. Yeah, I love the governing thing because, man, if they're running those things wide open all week, 8 hours a day, they will crap out. They will blow them up real fast. Yeah. So I mean, everyone has to think about longevity right now or sustainability because your equipment's not going to come in anytime soon. And yeah, you can get a trailer and start scouring the country, driving all over, and probably can find some used skis. And like, I know people that have sold some of their used boats because they expected to get their new ones in time, and now they're down a few in their fleet, and not with no idea of when they're going to get their next boat. So we got to make do with what we have. But, you know, your current equipment, it might be a year until the supply chain is back to where it is. Could be a year, could be longer. You got to keep your stuff running really well right now. And that's all I got to say. In fact, I reached out to, I'm going to mess up this acronym, but it's like the National Marine Dealers Association, something like that. It's one of those. I saw that was the article I posted on the Facebook group, but I reached out to them and said, "Hey, I'd love to get you guys in the podcast and talk about the supply chain issues and when we can expect to see things back to normal." I think that's a pretty important question right now for everybody. Is like, should I put an order in? I mean, am I going to get my stuff? I mean, hell yeah, you should put an order in. Maybe put 2 orders in. Just for the hell of it, just to make sure you get your shit for next year too. Yeah, it's gonna get back to normal though. In the meantime,
you'll be all right. Buy some used skis, put a governor on it, throw a tour on there. Do whatever you got to do to keep them in one piece, man. Because the moral of the story is there ain't gonna be none. You know, it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a while before we get a lot of skis available for people. But I've heard a lot of rumors that the Texas plant is up and going and people are going to start seeing stuff around May. So, you know, Yamaha's going to figure out a way. They got to figure out a way. You know, they're not the only ones. There's just the regular Joe Schmoes. And anybody who's trying to buy a skis, like Sea-Doo, anything, like you are at best case scenario paying MSRP and other scenarios paying over MSRP. And that's with cars too, man. I just bought a new truck and it was crazy. So,
wow. Crazy times.
You said there was before we started the show, you said you wanted to ask me about something regarding the weather.
Oh yeah. Did you see Facebook lately? There was this post.
Was it just one? I heard there was multiple. I don't know if somebody was exaggerating, but I just saw one.
There was this boat that was in the Gulf of Mexico under mild weather conditions.
See, it was so mild. It was so mild.
Oh my gosh, yeah! It literally looked like the front cover of Moby Dick, but it did. It was like all gray, and then the boat in the waves,
fucking waves breaking on the beach, dude. Like I was like, what the fuck? Who sent that out?
And Kevin, you sent me that text, and I said, "Man, who's that?" Or Christ, I don't remember what I said. I said, whose boat is that?
Yeah. as mine.
Well, we're lucky that people like didn't capsize. Holy shit.
Oh, dude, it was fucking bananas, man. It was fucking bananas.
Well, the first question I have is, how did they get that far?
How did they get out? How did they get out of the fucking East Pass, dude? At what point were they like, fuck this, turn around? You know what I mean? At any point, like, it's calm and like, all right. So when you leave from Crab Island to get back to our spot, you follow the land, you follow the highway. Done. Follow the beach, follow the highway. This is what my guys tell them. Keep the land, they say, on your left-hand side. And I'm like, I would say follow the highway. Keep the highway on your left-hand side, because it is inconceivable to me, to anybody, how could you get out into the Gulf of Mexico and not know where the fuck you're at? They are like, okay, we'll keep the land. So we run east to west. We're in a secluded sound. All right. So just imagine a water highway, if you will. And then you can make a right out of that water highway coming from our area to get to the beautiful, scenic, safe Crab Island. You go about another half mile to the south and you will be, and some days, in a horrific pass. It's like a washing machine on crack, man. Like, they're 4-footers. They're jamming in there. You could surf in there. It's bad. It gets real bad when it's windy. When it's calm, it's flat and nice. We never allow our boats out there because it can go from flat, calm, and nice, totally shitty. So once you get out into the ocean, now if you're going to the west, the land is to the left of you. If you go to the, east, the land is to the left. You go to the west, the land is to the right. So they were like, okay, let's keep land to the left. And they went east. So we are northwest from Crab Island. They went southeast, which is a fucking terrible way to go. And they ended up like 20 miles like away from where they were supposed to be. And they had to get an escort back. It was, I don't think the water conditions on shore, they looked really bad. I don't think they were that bad because if they were that bad, they would have never been able to get back into, cause they got escorted. My guys would, like, I've been in the past in bad conditions like that with the 250 and I brought the motor straight up out of the water. And that's me taking waves at a 90-degree angle. You know, and like surfing them down the cresting the wave and hitting it at a 90, turning it into like maybe like a 60 or a 45, like breaking that wave a little bit and turning back and just kind of like slowly working my way over those waves. And I'm probably the greatest captain that ever fucking lived. Like, nobody can drive a boat like me, man. I know how to fucking drive boats. I'm just kidding, but I'm up there. I'm fucking very good at driving boats. And I was like, oh my God damn, this is tough. So I think that picture was it was very foggy. The waves were hitting we're crashing out, we're breaking on the lug and thing. So if they got through on their own without Coast Guard jumping on the boat and driving the boat for them, then maybe it wasn't that bad. It was just a really bad looking picture. But yeah, it was really bad. The guy said to me, dude, it was the best fucking line, man, ever. Anyone ever said to me. He's coming back through and I'm like, all right, man. Like, cause I'm on the phone with them now. I'm like, cause this all just coming back to me from my team, you know? Cause I was like, I'm having them drop pins. I'm having them, you know, get them their GPS coordinates, all this stuff, give them our GPS coordinates. I'm telling them, you know, you need to get out there and go find them. Like, you guys got to get out there and go find them. You know, so my guys are on skis. I'm on the phone with the guy and he says to me, he's like, oh yeah, man, we're back in. And he's worried I was going to charge him for late fees. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not, you know, I probably should because you're a fucking dumbass, but I'm not, you know, I just want you to be safe. That's all I care about. And I'm like, what do you see now? You know, we're still trying to get a 6, you know? And he goes, man, I see some Harry Potter looking ass shit. Harry Potter looking ass shit. You're talking about the Emerald Grand, dude. And I'm like, fucking yes, dude. Like, and so this is like the lesson today. And the fog, like you can imagine it too in your mind. It's like foggy. It's getting dark. He sees the Emerald Grand and he sees fucking Hogwarts. I see some Harry Potter and shit, man. And I fucking died laughing, bro. I was like, are you guys safe, man? He's like, yeah, we're good. You know, he's like, my girl got a little shook up, but you aren't going to charge us. I'm like, no, man, I ain't going to charge you, bro. Like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. And yeah, so that's what I said to my guys today. We sat down, we had a conversation, and I said, were you guys lackadaisical in getting out there as fast as humanly possible? I'm like, maybe not. You know, like, did it take a whole team effort coordinating with Coast Guard, getting on the phone with FWC and like getting them back or whatever? And it's not that they didn't do a bad job. But I told them, I said, look, man, you know, you when explaining stuff to people, because they tell them don't go out into the Gulf. I said, but I just had a guy tell me when he saw a hotel, he saw Hogwarts. So I'm like, man, you can't say don't go out into the Gulf or don't go past the jetties. They're shaking their head going, yeah, okay. And they're thinking about going to a golf course. Who knows what they're fucking think by what you meant by that? What does the Gulf mean? What are jetties? Big, giant rocks with big, nasty waves. Even though we all go, yeah, well, fucking why would you go into that? They don't know. They're on a boat, man. They're they're in Harry Potter world, man. They're in the wizarding world of Harry Potter on a fucking boat, dude. And they see Hogwarts. They don't give a shit. I told my guys, I said, man, imagine somebody dropped you in the woods and was like, follow the tree line and go west. Would you be calling me to get you out of the fucking woods? Damn right you would, man, if you didn't have a compass. You know, so, you know, it's always, man, with this year, we're going to have an influx of inexperienced boaters, inexperienced jet skis. You have to be able to change your setup for safety to deal with this influx of new boaters in the marketplace. And you have to really, really hold their hand through the entire process, and probably going through into the future. Like, this should probably change our standards probably forever as to how we deal with our customers.
Have you considered putting GPS tracking on the boats?
I have. Yeah, I have. I looked into a couple different units. We were supposed to have them in the boats already, but we lost a crewman who's going to do that for us. So what we've been doing at a suggestion of another company is having people share their location with you. Everybody's got an iPhone, at least 60% of humanity, and they can share their location with your dockhand. So, you know, we've been doing that. You know,
that's
but, I mean,
that's a great idea.
I wish it was mine. It was Lee's from shout out True Blue. Yeah, he said that in the group one day, and I was like, man, that's a really good idea. I can't take credit for that. So, but yeah. So that's my worst nightmare come to fruition, dude. Is that picture, that scene, that whole thing, dude. That's the only one thing I don't like. I have no control over. Having people out there checking on them. If somebody decides they're going to go into the Gulf of Mexico, you know, it's like, yeah, we have to have GPS on the boat because it's so rare that it would happen, you know, but it happens.
Jeez. Well,
yeah. Good times.
Well, I think that we should end the show on that note, man. That was a crazy story, but you know, yeah, I'm sure it's not going to be the worst. Fortunately.
God, I hope not. Anyone's worse than that, dude. They're going to be hella backed out of there, dude. There's been a Coast Guard dropping a ladder down, grabbing them, dude. My fucking poor pontoon just being smashed to pieces on a jetty, dude. Like, I saw the picture and it had a paddleboard on the back of it, and I was like, I fucking went down my list and like looked at all our boats, what they had on. Like, they had a paddle. Like, I don't know.
I capsized a jet ski in the pass. I was just cruising along, and I went out of the pass to try to go on the other side of the jetties, and a rogue wave just threw me under. I mean, and I wasn't a very experienced rider at the time, but man, it came out of nowhere. It's very, very dangerous. I cannot believe he made it out. Even some of the bigger boats struggled to get out of there. So
yeah, wow. I mean, that's my only thought process is that it looked worse. Like, the actual pass wasn't as bad. And just that picture, the way it was taken, because it was foggy, I think it looked much worse because that was a 20-foot boat. And there's no way I could have got that back in the conditions that it looked like they were in. So I don't think it was that bad. When we talked, I mean, we didn't get any tickets. No, we were in no fault. There was nothing. All of our safety gear was intact. Everything was good. We did everything by the books. You know, we were out there trying to find them. You know, it was just, and I told my guys, I said, it could have been a lot worse. You know, it's just, you know, it's a difficult thing. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, where do you like go? Like if you went running after every single person that was 10 or 15 minutes behind, then you would be chasing half your damn fleet every day, you know? But I told them, I said, there's just that, you know, somebody's got to be on the phone with the customer. You have to be in contact with a rescue, and they've got to be going out, and there's got to be somebody on the phone talking to them the entire time. You got to treat those people as though they were your children and they were lost. And now that you have them on the phone, you don't want to let them off the phone until you, your guide, and them have all synchronized, in my opinion.
So I have just a couple quick things. If you like this show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any one of those sites, because we don't have enough. We need a few more. And you can say silly things too. You can make fun of us, or, you know, it doesn't matter. But leave us a review.
Yeah, even if it's a negative review.
Yeah, even if it's negative. Yeah, we don't care. I mean, we'll read them out aloud too.
Tell a friend too. We don't get anything out of this. You know, I think we share a lot of. There's probably a couple guys out there that do not like us, I'm sure, because we do give the keys to the kingdom away on the show, and that's not, you know, I'm not trying to float my own boat in anywhere. Oh, pun. But we do. I give away everything. I'm like, hey, this is how I do it. This is how we make money. You know what I mean? Go on ahead, open up door right next to me. Fucking do what I do. Let's kill it. Let's do it together. Let's do it all. Like everybody can kill it. And so, yeah, we don't ask anything in return for this, other that you spread the good word. Tell a friend. Join our Facebook group, invite your other water sports professionals and have your tour people come in and join. I mean, there's a lot of value in there, and a lot that your employees can learn. And if you're an employee listening to this show, then hey, yeah, thank you. But tell your other friends in the industry that, hey, man, this is pretty cool. These guys are like us, you know, that at least Kevin, man, he's all fucking swearing at me. Like the other guy, Greg's kind of a nerd a little bit, but he's a lot smarter than the Kevin guy.
No, yeah, we don't ask anything, but tell your friends, tell your colleagues, leave a review. We'll read all the reviews. We'll read them on the show.
Send me fan mail,
good and bad. And that's it. That wraps it
Boom.
up. All right, guys. As always, thanks for listening, and keep it awkward.
You've been listening to the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. If you're in the water sport industry, this is the podcast that brings the business perspective to parasailing, jet and ski boat rentals, sailing, snorkeling, and everything else. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Be sure to sign up to our email list at watersportpodcast.com and subscribe in your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time, and thanks for listening.